Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes, powered by gpac. gpac, growing people and companies. I'm your host, Nick Cornder, Assistant Commissioner at the Northern Sun. Today, we are joined by former NSIC student athletes, now championship men basketball coaches, Brad Bigler of Southwest Minnesota State and Matt Fletcher of Concordia-St. Paul. Coaches, thanks for joining us on the Spotlight.
Thanks for having us.
All right, SMSU and CSP shared the NSIC regular season title this year. First for the Golden Bears, and the third for the Mustangs, but there's a deeper connection between you two that goes back much further than coaching. Tell us about that.
Well, there's a lot of good stories I got on Fletch, but we're gonna keep it simple today. The one though is always that conditioning, that first week of conditioning that he was at Southwest. I think he turned purple, but I will tell you this: I'm proud of the guy. He's done a heck of a job, not only at Concordia-St. Paul, but just building his resume, getting into this point. And obviously, we're friends. We probably talk, I don't know, almost 3 or 4 times a week. Just a guy that has earned everything. And I think from both of us, we've learned from some great mentors as well. And a guy that I'm just really proud of.
Yeah, it's gone a long ways back. 2004 is when you're your assistant, and I was coming there completely out of shape, and definitely learned really fast that things were going to change fast for me there. But yeah, like Big said, it's been one of those things where as the story has changed for me, my relationship with Biggs has changed. It went from kind of a coach, he was assistant, and then he kind of kept climbing up the ladder as long as I did as well too, and then we've just kind of connected, and our friendship has grown over the years. And it's someone that I've always turned to for advice and looking, for ideas, and just enjoy recruiting and those different things that we got to do together. And it's just been something cool to kind of emerge and then get to go head to head now in the same conference. As Concordia was a job that I always had my eye on, being closer to home and with my family, and being to go against Southwest has been really fun. But yeah, he's got too many stories, so I got to make sure I answer things correctly today.
So both former student athletes on the men's basketball team at Southwest Minnesota State. Brad, then you were the GA assistant coach when Fletch was playing. Coach Bigler, you finished your career second all-time at SMSU in assists. Coach Fletcher, you owned the record for three-pointers made down at Southwest. How is your coaching style different than how you played?
I think, well, first of all, this is one of those moments that back in the day, Kelly Loft was still trying to get going. And there's no question he probably missed a lot of the assists. So I'm throwing Kelly under the bus right now. But no, at the end of the day, that coaching style, I think, is something that kind of evolves with the people that you're around. I think the game of basketball evolves. And I think both of us have a certain offensive style. I think Coach Fletch kind of takes his own, his own spin on it, but there's some similarities in what we do, but also a lot of differences in what we do. And I think from that coaching perspective, we take a little bit difference. I think Coach Fletch is leading the league in offense. I think we're leading the league in defense. So I think there's a lot of fun to it. And it also shows in the game of basketball, there's a lot of different ways to win.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that Biggs told me when I first got into coaching was coach to who you are, be your personality. Just don't try to do something you don't do, or not be yourself. And so one of the things that I wasn't an elite defender. I tried hard, but at the end of the day, I was a system defender. So I shot a lot of threes, and when I went to go work for Brooks at Upper Iowa, we kind of had the same mindset with what we wanted to do. Just the style of play. And so as I was working for Brooks, I was kind of developing on what I really wanted to do when I finally got my chance. And, I got a chance to do it at Bethany. And like Big said, we do things differently, but I think the core of it's the same offensively. We get to things differently and we hunt things differently, but at the end of the day, we're both kind of hunting the same ending result. Obviously it's a score, but the type of shots we take, the type of unselfishness, the type of team first mentality, celebration of each other, those different things that I think go back to our core roots of, him playing there, me playing there, and then him coaching, and all that, just kind of that blood that we have through SMSU basketball. I think that's where it started from. And then obviously the different way you get to it, like Big said, there's multiple different ways to do it. There's no right or wrong. It's just you got to fit the players you have and your personality of coaching. And I think that's one thing I've watched him do over the year. He's changed. When he first got the job there, he was different than he is now. And it's been fun to watch a guy that's been doing it forever, still willing to adapt and morph his system to fit basketball today and the kids today. So something that I've been kind of monitoring from afar.
And we both should probably compliment Brooks McCowan too, because he's been a part of both of our development at some point in the stage. And he's also a guy that he never turns down a shot. So like that dude, he chucks, man. And so
Yeah.
he's chuck. So Fletcher's got that a little bit in him. He's got a little Brooks in him. And but no, another guy that we miss not being in the NSIC, a guy that we are rooting for week to week, and another guy that we're actually three of us are on a text chain, and usually Fletch gets the most grief on that text chain, but it's good. It's good. It's fun. It's fun to be in this profession with some guys that you've kind of been through some wars with, and then you can really kind of that relationship's just a little bit more substance, and Brooks McCollum is a big part of both of our our tenures.
That kind of leads into the next question, Coach Fletcher. Who would you say, which coach had the biggest influence on you in your young career?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I get that asked a lot because I've worked for, Rich Glass was a legend. He's in his 39th season when I first worked for him. And I think the thing I took from him right away was you don't have to be mad all the time to be a good coach. He just loved life, man. That guy showed up every day with a smile, never upset, was super detail oriented, but just basketball wasn't going to get him down. He's like, I get to coach basketball. That's my job. And that was the one thing I took from him right away, just like, because sometimes you get the perception of coaches that they got to be angry and mad and, scowl face all the time. And he was the polar opposite of that. Just a guy that loved his job, that had been at Division I, Division II, Division III level. And he was the same all the time. But then I think through the different years, I think you take something differently from each guy you work for. I learned things from Todd Lee down at Kentucky Wesleyan. I learned a lot from Brooks. I learned a lot from Coach Steeman and Coach Bigler when I played for them. And then watching teams in the league. But for the most part, I think on the court stuff, it's kind of been through, my playing days with the mentality of the stuff we developed. And then through Brooks is kind of when I developed my system to a T of what I wanted to do. But I think my coaching style and who I am and how I represent myself and my program and how I interact with my guys is more from, Biggs and Coach Steeman back in the day when he was there too. And, that's kind of where I've just and my dad also coached for a long, long time and was an athletic director. So if I'm doing something the wrong way, I got an old guy right in my ear right now every time he gets a chance. So there's no slip ups for me. Otherwise I hear about it.
Yeah, I'd say the same. Like, and your point of growth, this is different. So, like when I was playing Coach Miles, he taught me how to play with emotion. And I'm a coach's kid too. My dad was, you don't play with emotion, right? You just keep an even keel and this and that. So when I got to Coach Miles really showed me how to. If you want to be elite, you have to be able to play with emotion, and you have to use emotion to kind of bring out the best in you. With Coach Steeman, he taught me discipline, no doubt about it. Just the discipline and toughness of what it takes to be a champion. And then going back to what Fletch said, I think my dad and his dad as well. I mean, I know his dad very well, and I think both of our dads probably taught us that unselfishness and the bigger picture and how to communicate with people and how to just be a good person and to be genuine. And I think both of our fathers did a great job of that.
Absolutely.
Leads again right into the next question of successful coaches have positive culture on their team, obviously passed down from other coaches or parents. What's the culture you've built in your programs? Coach Bigler, we can start with you.
I always this one's a tough question in my opinion, because I think it's never a finished product. I think your culture is you're always trying to build it. You're always trying to add the right pieces to the puzzle to kind of keep the ship moving. I think for us, it's really just about bringing in the right our people, like people that fit us. I mean, Coach Smith and myself have both played here, now coached here, and there's just a certain, I guess, personality that's going to be able to be successful here. And there's a lot of reasons for that. But at the end of the day, Coach Smith and I, we just kind of look at the players and recruits and 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 in our program, and we just take a lot of pride in who we are. And I just appreciate I
Motion light.
appreciate it's one of those things, man. You want to surround yourself with great people. And we've been able to do that. Very thankful for our guys.
Yeah, I think that's something obviously culture is it's a word that's I think it's a buzzword a little bit in our profession. I think a lot of people use it to negatively impact programs, negatively impact people, coaches. And so what we've really focused on when we got here, we had to really change some things, how things were done. And we call it an action. Culture is not what we talk about. It's not what we don't sit in a meeting and talk about culture. We act it. So things we've had to focus on here are academics. Our GPA was a 2.68 when we got here. It's at a 3.3 now. Community engagement, behavior on campus, the way we carry ourselves in restaurants on the road, the way we clean up locker rooms after we're done playing, whether we win or lose, mad or happy. We've just tried to really implement there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way to do things. And the more kids you can get, like Big said, that come into your program, that convincing them to do the good is easy. It just kind of handles itself over time. Now you still have to mature and guys have to mature and learn how to be those people consistently, especially when you're not looking. But it's our job, I think, to whenever we're around, hold them to a standard that maybe they don't understand right away. And then the more they hear it, the more they see it from other people, the upperclassmen, it should just become what your program's about. And that's what I think culture ends up being because everyone comments on the end product. They never see the guts of it when it's being changed or, I'm sure Biggs has had guys that don't fit the culture and guys that don't fit what you're trying to do. And people don't see that. But the end product is what everybody notices. So like Big says, it's never done because you're one bad apple away from ruining it. So it's one of those ongoing things that you got to be really selective of who you bring in and how you communicate with people.
You guys are doing a great job with that this year, obviously with the league championships. Most competitive league in the nation, the NSIC is, if it's not, it's one of the top few out there. This season really stood out. First time since 2011-12 season that no team finished with above 750 win percentage in league play. Just talk about the NSIC, the schedule. We had 3 teams tie for 4th place, or 4 teams tie for 3rd place in the league standings. So just that grind each week in and out throughout the season.
Let you take this one first.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you what, it made the regular season championship feel a little bit sweeter, knowing how good it was, how good the league is. Just for example, right now, we're getting ready for this weekend, and we're looking at Minot State, who was top 5 in the country, and that's our quarterfinal draw. Like, what are we doing? So it's one of those where I think the standard of each program is raised from the guys that have been in the league forever. And continue to grow their programs and get better and better and better. And then you have some new faces that have come in and really, raise that bar with them. I think like Bergstrasser at Moorhead has continued to grow that program and keep finding ways to get better and better and better. And obviously what Matt did at Mankato last year, sets the bar even higher for everybody. You just expect that out of our league, a Final Four, Elite Eight, something out of our league, representing us, Justin up at Duluth and what they've done. So I think that standard has been set so high that even the teams that are near the bottom in the middle over the years have gotten better because they're trying to reach it. And if you're trying to reach a standard that at times feels untouchable, that parity in our league changes faster because of that. And guys are working hard. We see people on the road. Our league is always on the road. We always see each other out. I think we're one of the hardest working leagues as well, too. But at the same time, I think every weekend, home or away, man, it's an absolute gauntlet trying to steal wins every single night. So I tell our guys after every win, we are enjoying this tonight. Don't think about tomorrow. Get on the bus. That gas station stop after a win is excellent. We try to soak that in and then go to bed and wake up and try to do it again. Because those are hard to come by. So we didn't take any for granted this year, that's for sure.
I think Coach Fletcher and I both know there is a lot of teams in this league right now that if it woulda, coulda, who could be on this Zoom call instead of us coming down that stretch. And I think both of us know maybe it's sometimes better to be lucky than good. But at the same time, you have to put yourself in that moment where you can earn something too. And this NSIC is no joke. To go get 2 wins on the road on one of those travel weekends is dang near almost impossible. And that's a compliment to all the coaches in the league. I think Coach Fletcher said it perfectly. I mean, just you go down the list of coaches in this league who have built programs and have sustained and been consistent. And they all have their own little personality too, which is kind of cool. The different personalities create different environments that are fun to play in. Whether it's Duluth doing their $1 night, to northern states. I hate winter night, and you kind of go through the list of just different great venues that we get a chance to play in, and it's fun. I've been able to be that rookie, and now I'm one of the old dudes for the coaching side of things now. So I'm
Really,
just kind of yeah. So you just kind of see like the growth of a lot of things, and you see how when new guys come in, why they're able to make it, but you also see why certain guys are not able to make it. And there's also some things you can control, but you can't control. And so there's a lot to it. But man, this league is a lot of fun, just the detail. And there was a moment where, you know, there's a moment where I think the offensive side was just this glaring, like our offense, the details in our offense. And now I think our league's almost flipping back to the defense outside of Fletch, where Fletch just goes and outscores everybody by 30 points. But you see a lot of teams now. It's funny how the game just evolves and kind of has your little swings back and forth. And right now I think Ben McCollum, in Northwest Mo, we're all chasing that dude for however many years and how he did it. And in order to beat him, there's a certain style that you had to have. And some of us are trying to match that. But some of us are doing their own things and being unique too. So it's just fun. I mean, again, it's another example. There's a lot of different ways of winning and being a champion. And I think both Coach Fletch and myself have our own styles, but there's a lot of good styles within the conference.
Final question for you guys. The first round of the NSIC tournament starts tonight. That's Wednesday night. Fans can watch that free out on the NSIC network. You guys can talk about how this tournament's evolved over the years. From you guys playing, it was back on home courts, now being in the Pentagon.
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot over the years. I think the coverage of it is unmatched across the country for Division II. I think it's the best. I've watched them all because when I wasn't in the league, I would watch them especially when I was D3 because we didn't play at the same time. So we'd always fire them up on the computers and watch this league and MIAA and the GLVC, and it's not even close. The coverage and other leagues do a good job too, but ours is just at a whole different level. And the Pentagon obviously helps that because it's a cool venue. It's a unique venue. It's built for stuff like this. Just the look of it just kind of gives you a different vibe when you show up for it. And then you add on top of that where every game is unbelievably competitive. It just makes it great for every fan. You come for a game that maybe is a team you're pulling for, but the game after makes you want to stay again. That obviously adds to the quality of the tournament itself. You have crazy high quality top 25 type games from the quarterfinals on. You can't really argue that when you pay your ticket to go in and sit and watch 2 of those games. So I just think overall the production, the venue, the quality of basketball on the men's and women's side, it's unmatched across the country. There's other leagues that do a great job, but I just think ours has separated itself just from the quality of the product and the venue and the coverage of it.
What's been fun for both Fletch and myself this year too is our women's programs have been playing at a high level and came down to the final game to be champions as well too. So, they're Our alumni, our fan base are spoiled right now, probably for both of our programs. But when you look at that overall picture, our ability to have that for free online, and I know there's always debate, but what that free does is it allows someone to jump on when it's convenient for their time. So they may not be able to watch a whole game, but they can flip on for 20 minutes. They can catch the end of games. All of a sudden, they see something on social media. Oh, there's a great finish between Concordia-St. Paul and Southwest. All right, we can jump on for the last 10 minutes. And I think that flexibility also allows, all our alumni and people from outside of the region to just pay attention. The amount of D1 coaches that text me, that watch our league or pay attention is crazy. But if they have to pay, or if they have to, basically if they have to pay, I mean, they're probably not jumping on like that. And so it's one of those things where I just really hope that we can keep that. I know it's, again, like, it's up for debate, but I think that's a big part of building our brand in the NSIC. And that brand is a pretty good brand.
For sure. Well, gentlemen, thank you for joining me this morning. I want to wish you guys the best of luck down at the Pentagon this weekend in Sioux Falls. That's March 1st to the 4th. Go to northernsun.org/NSIC tourney for more information. Guys, best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.